that I do these videos solely for myself and no one else, but if you have to happen to stumble upon it, um, and you learn something, good for you, but I do this for myself only. That being said, um, that being said, and I want to say the reason why I do these videos for myself is because I don't feel like the material that I provide is good enough for people to really learn, and I don't want to misguide someone, so I just do it for myself. But today was a $1,238 gain. Yesterday, or what is today? Monday, I think. Monday. Yes, today's Monday. So last week, Friday, I made 1,200 as well. So I'm back on my winning streak again. Hopefully, I just need to regulate my emotions and be disciplined. Um, so I don't fuck up like the week before. Um, I'm sorry, I'm a little tired, not feeling well, but let's begin. Today I had like multiple stocks on my scanner, not on my scanner, but on my watch list. But I didn't really like none of them. I wasn't like hyped up or in favor for any of them. I just had them because they were extended. They showed signs of possible red day, which out of all of them, one or two showed a great sign of a red day, but eventually like kicked out all the stocks that I was watching. Or I took them off my watch list before like they even started because I after the market opened because I didn't really like them. Um, but I noticed ticker symbol GNOG. Um, it was the biggest percent gainer of the day, and it had like 2 million shares available for short, and it had a great volume. I looked up the SEC filings. But first I looked up the flow in um the flow in the outstanding and the implied outstanding as well, and it looked pretty good to me. I don't remember the numbers, but I'll show you here. Wow, it went down to 35%. I would have held overnight. Alright, so yeah, it was 41 mil, which was a little bit low for me, too low for me, but it was good. Um, there was a 46 outstanding, so there's a 5 million difference roughly. Um, but I didn't notice this when I first watched it or look up this stock earlier, but the implied shares outstanding is pretty high, and the applied shares outstanding is what investors have that are restricted. But we got to remember that Yahoo Finance is not updated every single day, so you never know when these shares become unrestricted. Um, Not only that, looking at the chart, if I can get to it. Looking at the yearly chart, it's spikes, big spikes, but downtrend. It's a recent runner. Um, but you can tell it's been manipulated because it was doing nothing for years. Had these big spikes and sold into each time here, 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 and here. So there's and all of here. So there's manipulation coming with it. Pre-market, it looks just so sweet to me. So before I got in, I went and looked up the SEC filings, and I noticed that they had a 424B, of course. And on that 424B, they had an offering, and when they did this offering, it was at $16.63. I don't know if that's the price that they have the offering at, but um, whenever they do an offering, sometimes they're not. Um, they don't say the price that they have this offering at. So you just have to go off of um, what the price of the stock was the day that they did the offering, and then sometimes you got to multiply it by uh, two or three or four because they sell 2 to 3 or 4 times the price that they got it at. So I made a mistake here shorting because um, if they got it at 16, it explains why the stock didn't dump so much because they want to sell it above 16, so they're not going to let it go under 16. So I'm assuming that's why it didn't go down this much. But pre-market, um, it was looking sexy to me, honestly. Out of all the stocks that I was watching, this was the sexiest one. Pre-market. It was up what $7 per share. I was trying to get into it like right here, somewhere right here. But I kind of hesitated because I was looking up and doing my research. I should have woken up earlier. But as I was doing my research, it started fading, and I quickly entered an order after I did everything that I needed to do, and um, I got in at 1871, and here you see where my entries are. Um, and then I added another 500. I got in at 500, added another 500 at 1865 because it just looked, although it was up a lot and it was still near high day, that was perfect because you don't see any manipulation pre-market, but from what I did from my research, I can clearly see there is manipulation. It's gearing towards we're at 9 o'clock, um, or it was 9 o'clock or 9:15. I got in. 9:05 is when I got in, and you can see it just starting to fade. And they have you can there's a 424B. There's an offering. Um, and then I had a good entry, or I almost had a good entry. I was trying to get in the 1880s, 1890s, but I missed it. But you can see it just little fading off little by little by little, and I was glad that I got in. Um, and then during pre-market, it just kept fading little by little. By the time market opened, I think I was up like already $500. I could have took that and called it a day, but just by me having a somewhat good entry, or I won't say somewhat, but near to really good entry or excellent entry, and with this offering, I knew that it was just gonna come down. But this is where I made my mistake. I what you gonna call it? Didn't realize I didn't notice the offering was at $16, so I knew it wasn't gonna go under. At that point, after I got it, I knew it wasn't gonna go under $16, and market opened and it just hesitated. I mean, I'm thinking it was gonna fucking dump, and it did not at all. And I'm telling myself like they got the offering at 16. Um, there's not gonna be a panic, and you know what happens when the stock does not panic. And I was just kind of like beating myself up inside, but that's part of your emotions. I'm feeling like regret or whatever emotion you go through when you're trading. I think there's like five different kinds. But I'm beating myself up and I'm just like hesitant to get out because it's not panicking. And you know what happens when a stock is extended, and market opens and it doesn't panic. You know what's going to happen after that. It's going to spike. So I watched it. I watched the price action the whole time, and it was pushing up a little bit, but it kept getting stuff, and it was just consolidating for the first 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and it wouldn't make a decision really. And I'm just like, oh shit, like what the fuck is gonna happen? And like, my heart's just racing because it's like I'm in the first 5 minutes of the day, and I'm up on this trade. I'm in big, and this shit's not moving, and it can either burst up or burst down. And I already had my stop limit order ready, but I'm like, man, what if this shit don't execute? Um, so after that, I just got out. I got out at $18.45. So that was about a, I'll say about a, no, I'm sorry. Where did I fucking get out? I got out at $17.92. So that was about a 70 cent difference. And by the time I got out, I made $700 within like 35 minutes. Really 30 minutes. Um, and I was okay with it. I was done. Well, in an hour, I would say. Nah, hold on. I'm trying to get this information correct. 35 minutes exactly. Got out at 35, 34 minutes, and I was done. Um, and then at that point, I left. Um, I went to go do other shit. Came back to the computer. I did my final exam. Well, just before my final exam, got into the stock, and I told myself not to trade because you got the fucking final exam. Um, and you don't want to be in a stock while you're doing your final exam. And that's exactly what happened. I was trading while I'm doing my final exam, and that shit was the ridiculous. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I'm not in the right mindset. But this stock had a flow of 27, which is pretty low. I should have been shorting it, but I could see where it was gonna go. Um, and the outstanding was 55, so that's almost double. So that's a pretty big difference, or over double. So that's a pretty big difference. But looking at the chart today, um, uh, um, looked at the yearly chart, clear manipulation. Even if it's just 1 year, you see the manipulation here where it goes up, pulls back. They don't manipulate it too much here, but you see a gap up or a hold, whatever this was, and then they just dumped it. Did another hold, dumped it. Um, thank God I didn't get stuck into no hold trading this. It was a 1 day hold, but uh, I saw it pop up on my scanner, and thank God for my scanner because then I would have never noticed this. But popped up on my scanner, and it was like going straight up. The volume wasn't too good, but it was good enough. And I wasn't really trying to overtrade. I kind of felt like this was an overtrade, but um, I can't remember this trade. I don't even remember. I never remember my fucking trades. Let me get to it. Okay, here it goes. So after that nice run up, I got in like right here in a consolidation area. Um, I remember now. I got in like somewhere right here to here, and I got in too big, too low. Made that was my first mistake, and then I was playing off of resistance at $2. Um, but I got in too big, and when I calculated the amount of money that I would have been losing if it hit $2, I didn't like it. A $400 risk, that wasn't my risk. That's not what I like. My risk is really supposed to be like 30 to 50. Sometimes I push it to 200 if I'm trading pretty well. Um, but give me a second. Yeah, so I didn't like it. I didn't like the risk, and I was just like, "What the fuck? What am I thinking?" I went almost all in, or I think all in, 4,500 shares at an average of I think 67 or 62. I can't even remember. 65. I mean, 106 $1.65 or 67. It was one of the two. And it started pushing up against me, and it went up to shit. I don't even remember my average. I'm sorry, not $1.65, $1.86 or 85. It was in between those. That was my average. That was my average, and um, as I'm doing my exam or getting ready for my exam, um, it's pushing up, and I'm kind of down on the trade, and then it has this big crack as soon as I get into the class online. I'm doing my classes online, and um, I'm preparing for the exam, and I'm watching this stock go against me, then goes with me, um, and I'm so distracted by this exam and trading that I'm doing neither of them correctly, but I'm getting it done. And finally, I was able to exit my trade. I got out at I got two orders that execute. Okay, no, wrong stock. I got out $1.86. I don't. It don't even make sense to me because I knew I wasn't in at $1.86. I don't fucking remember my average. Oh, okay. I was in at $1.92, and I got out at $1.86. So less than a 10 cent gain. 10 cent gain. Um, at one point, I was up way more than you see this $272. But because I wasn't focused enough, I couldn't get out with a better exit, and I just got out as soon as I saw that I was up. Originally, I was up like over $400 here, and for some reason, I entered my order at 186, and I executed, and I gave back 100 and something bucks. Um, but I'm glad I got out because eventually um, it bounced, and it really wasn't a plus setup. It wasn't no good setup. Yes, it had a great uptrend, and it was spiking, um, and it had overhead resistance, but this wasn't a massive extended spike. So actually, this was considered over trading. I consider it over trading, but it is what it is. Um, the trade's overweight. Got to move on and do my best not to overtrade. Um, but after that stock, I kept scanning, looking for other stocks. Um, After I was done with my exam, um, and here going back to GNOG, uh, this is where I begin to overtrade again. Um, so although it was a good day, I made money. The issue is the discipline, and um, I was right here, as you can see, um, 520. I was like right here, 520, 1520, which is 320 in regular time, not military time. So weird. But I saw that it looked like it was forming a. It already did a double top right here, and it looked like it was forming a triple top. So I saw that as a bearish indicator. And although I don't solely trade off of indicators, it's a bigger strategy that I use. Um, uh, this was a full first green day with a lot of manipulation. Excuse me, and that's why I was shorting it. But what I was under the impression, or I was under the impression, but I looked at the odds and I'm like, what are the odds of this fading for the last 30 minutes? And I'm like, I think the odds are high because stocks like this that I see that spike up and then keep uptrending towards the end of the day, the last 30 minutes, people start to sell off to take profits. And I've seen this happen many times. I never played it, and I'm like, here's a chance for me to play it. If I'm wrong, I need to be getting out right here at 1873. But at the time, Yahoo Finance doesn't give you the accurate numbers sometimes. It said 1870, so I was like, okay, 1870 is my risk. I'm gonna get out then, and it hit my wrist. I didn't get out. I wasn't disciplined enough to get out. But one thing that influenced me not to get out was the price action. The price action was so weak that I was like, there's no point of getting out because you still got about what 30 minutes left to go because the 30 minutes didn't even start. The last 30 minutes, we didn't even get to the last 30 minutes before I got in. And I still got 30 minutes left to go. The price action is weak as fuck. It's most likely going to fade for the rest of the last 30 minutes. So that's why I didn't get out, but I should have just gotten out anyway because I need to follow my rules. But other things influenced me to stay. So it pushed up, got stuffed. I told myself, man, if it goes to 80, I'm cutting because although it's weak, I'm not going to just keep letting this ride. 80 is an arbitrary number, but I'm definitely not holding until 1890 or $19. Um, so eventually, it had this pullback, small panic pullback, and I knew that was a sign of this shit's gonna go down for the rest of the day. So I stayed in and I waited, and it just kept downtrending, downtrending, downtrending. I was all in, which was like 1,500 shares. Not a really good position or a good size, but I was in, and it just kept fading. Um, when it hit here at like 1844 or 1838, because when I was trading this, it never said 1838. It said 1844 was the lowest point it hit, and then it bounced. But I wanted to get out 1844, but I just kept looking at it. I'm like, it just seems like it can just go much more, it can go down much more. So I didn't get out, and I let the last 15 minutes ride into the end of the day. And after hours came, and I did not fucking notice. I got out like as soon as after hours, as soon as I could during after hours, which was like 3 minutes after hours. That fucking shit dropped way more. Like I missed additional 50 cents because I knew this shit was gonna drop, and I knew it. I'm like, I knew it was gonna drop. There was high odds that it was gonna drop towards the last 30 minutes, but after hours, I'm like, this is gonna go in red at some point, or it might go in red because this week is fuck. And I was right, and I got out too early, which I'm okay with, but um, the main thing is just I'm glad that I was in tune with the market, but I missed out on an opportunity, and it kind of bothered me, but it kind of doesn't. But um, I did pretty well analyzing opposed to a couple weeks ago. So in total for this stock, I made 966. Um, TEDU, I made 272 in total for the day, 1,238. So my account is at 27,415 in total. Um, and I'm good. I have uh, people's money invested, so I can't wait to pay them back because I'm already in the position to pay my first investor back their money that I promised them, and then I should be on my way to pay my second investor back. And after that, all this money is mine. Finally trading live now. So I got a skill that's forever, and like I can make a lot of money with it, and I'm finally doing good at it. So I got to make sure I'm disciplined and not fuck up. But the lesson in this trade is don't overtrade and don't trade anything that's not looking too good because I really overtraded today. I'm done.